Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chess Grandmasters channel for chess videos. In this video, I am going to show you the game 10 of the World Championship match between Magnus Carlsen and Sergey Karjakin. In this game, Carlsen had the white pieces and Karjakin had black. Carlsen started with e4, Karjakin responded e5. The game continued with knight f3, knight c6 and bishop to b5. The Roy Lopez or the Spanish opening. Karjakin played the move knight to f6, which is called as the Berlin defense, and Carlsen defended his e4 pawn with the move d3. Black develops his bishop to c5 and white plays c3. Now black castles and white plays the move bishop to g5, pinning the black knight to the queen. Black immediately challenges the bishop with the move h6 and white maintains his pin with the move bishop to h4. Now black feels that he has to unpin his knight and plays the move bishop to e7. Now Carlsen castles on the king side. Of course, white cannot try to win the pawn on e5. Because if bishop takes c3, b takes c3 and knight takes e5, black will play knight takes e4, discovering a double attack on the undefended bishop on h4, and play will continue bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, d takes e4, queen takes e5, where black wins the pawn back with a better position. So Carlsen does not go for that line and instead plays castles. Now black defends his e5 pawn with the move d6 and white plays knight b to d2. A good move in this position for black would be to play bishop to d7, just developing the bishop and making sure that the pawn structure is intact in case there is a trade on c6. But here Karjakin instead played the move knight to h5. The knight is heading to the f4 square and black is inviting a trade of the dark squared bishops. So Carlsen plays bishop takes e7 and Karjakin responds with queen takes e7. Now Carlsen plays the move knight to c4. Karjakin plays knight to f4 as planned already. Now white plays the move knight to e3, eyeing the d5 and f5 outposts. Now Karjakin plays the move queen to f6, trying to coordinate an attack on the king side. Now white would like to play knight d5, attacking the queen and the pawn on c7, but he cannot play it right now because the knight on f4 is guarding that square. So white tries the move g3, kicking the knight on f4. Black responds with knight to h3 check. So white moves his king to h1 and then black plays the knight to e7. Stopping knight d5 ideas, the game continues bishop to c4, c6 and bishop to b3. Black brings an extra piece to the king side with the move knight g6 and white moves his queen to e2, adding an extra defender for the f2 pawn and connecting the rooks. Now black plays the move a5, expanding on the queen side, and white responds with a4, stopping black's queen side counterplay. Now black plays the move bishop to e6, offering a trade of light square bishops, and white plays bishop takes e6, and the game continues with f takes e6. Now the f-file is open for the rook and the knight on f3 is under attack, so Carlsen plays knight to d2. This is a critical position, and if you wish, please pause the video here and try to come up with the best move for black. Alright, so I hope you found the move knight takes f2 check. This move was not played. Perhaps Karjakin was worried that the knight would be pinned to the queen, and after a move like king to g2, the knight could be lost. But Black has a very strong move here, which is knight to h4 check. And the only good move for white is to play king to g1. Let's see what happens if instead white tries to play g takes f4. Now black gets the initiative with queen to g6 check. White plays knight to g4, the only move, and black gets his piece back with knight takes on g4. In this position, black is up material and has a winning attack on the white king. So this is not desirable for white, and white has to play the move king to g1. Now black can force a draw by repetition with the moves knight h3 check, and after king h1, knight f2 check. But this was not played in the game. Black played the move d5, challenging white's center, and Carlsen responded with the move queen to h5. The move knight takes f2 was still possible for black, but black plays the move knight to g5. The game continues with h4, knight f3, knight takes f3, queen takes f3 check, queen takes f3, and rook takes f3. So we reach this endgame with 2 rooks and a minor piece and all the pawns on the board. The game continues king g2 and black retreats his rook to f7. Okay, let's go over the next few moves and stop at a point where the position becomes instructive. The game continues rook f to e1, h5, knight f1, king f8, knight d2, king e7, rook e2, king d6, knight f3, rook a to f8, knight g5, rook e7, rook a to e1, rook f to e8, knight f3, knight h8, d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, g6, rook to e3, knight f7, e5 check, king d7, rook f3, knight h6, rook f6, rook g7, b4, a takes b4, c takes b4, knight g8, rook f3, knight h6, a5, knight f5, knight b3, king c7, knight c5, king b8, rook b1, king a7, rook d3, rook c7, rook a3, knight d4, rook d1, knight f5, king h3, knight h6, f3, rook f7, rook d4, knight f5, rook d2, rook h7, rook b3, rook e to e7, rook d to d3, rook h8, rook b1, rook h to h7. And let's stop here. This is indeed a long game and we have reached move number 56 already. This is a very instructive position. Black just played his rook to h7 and it's white to move. White has a winning move in this position, a winning idea. Please pause the video and see if you can come up with a move that white should make in this position. Alright, I hope you found the move b5. Let's see what happens. Black plays c takes b5 and white plays rook takes b5. Now black has some problems. The b7 pawn is weak. The rook is attacking it and the knight is also attacking it. And most importantly, there is another weakness in black's camp, which is the e6 pawn, which is already attacked by the knight. And white is planning to put more pressure on the e6 pawn by moving his rook to b3. And notice black cannot do something like rook h8 and rook d8 to defend e6, because in that case white can play rook d to b3 and put more pressure on the b7 pawn. So Carlsen manages to exploit the two weaknesses that are there in black's camp very well. Karjakin tries the move d4 and Carlsen plays rook to b6. So now black is unable to defend the e6 pawn well and decides to play actively with the move rook c7. The game continues with knight takes e6, black plays rook c3, and Carlsen plays knight to f4, just defending the white rook. Black plays rook h to c7, and Carlsen responds with knight to d5, forking the black rooks. And after black plays rook takes d3, knight takes c7, king b8, knight to b5, king c8, and rook takes g6. Black tries the move rook takes f3. White responds with king to g2, and after rook to b3 hitting the knight moves to d6 with a check and also forking the black knight. So this forces the trade of knights with knight takes d6, rook takes d6, rook to e3, white plays e6, king c7, and now white plays rook takes d4, and after rook takes e6, white attacks with the move rook d5. Black defends the h-pawn with rook to h6, and now the king comes into activity with king f3, king b8, king f4, king to a7, king g5 attacking the black rook, and after rook h8 the king moves to f6 threatening to go to g7, and at this point black resigned because he knows that he's already a pawn down and he will be losing the h pawn soon, and there is no way to stop one of these pawns from queening. And that brings us to the end of a very instructive chess game where white brilliantly identifies the two weaknesses in black's camp and exploits them successfully. I hope you found this video to be useful. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and bye for now.